Hello.
Did you say hello?
No, I said hello, but that's close enough.
Welcome to Hubba-What, a Muppet quiz show brought to you by ToughPigs.com. It's your favorite quiz show that's not like the others. Here, Muppet fans, Muppet professionals, and everyone in between competes for fabulous prizes and to see who's this week's toughest pig. I'm your host, Becca Petunia of ToughPigs.com. Today on Hubba-What, we're off to the Goblin City. That's right, our contestants will be going head-to-head and hand-to-helping hand in a competition themed around Jim Henson's cult classic fantasy film, Labyrinth. In 9 hours and 23 minutes, our guests will be mine, turned into goblin children unless they can solve my mysterious riddles. That's right, I'm like David Bowie, except I have a gender identity that people find even more confusing. As always, these questions were written by me with help from that amazing Muppet resource, Muppet Wiki. And this time, also with help from the amazing book, Labyrinth, The Ultimate Visual History by Paula M. Block and Terry J. Erdman. I read this thing cover to cover to help me plan this episode, which proves just how dedicated I am to this quiz show that only appeals to about 38 people. Speaking of doing research, let's agree to play fair today. Please don't look at Muppet Wiki or any other resource during this game. We all know how Sarah feels about things that aren't fair. So before I imprison both of you in my trivia oubliette, let's meet our contestants in a game I call To Tell a Face. Contestants, you're going to buzz in to answer 3 questions about yourself. Whoever buzzes in first will get introduced first. Ready? Go. All right, JD. JD, your first question. What is your name?
For full points, do you need to know what the initials stand for?
No.
Okay. My name is JD Hansel.
Okay. And JD, what's your history with the Muppets and Jim Henson and all of those related works?
Well, I grew up when the Muppets weren't really accessible anywhere. They weren't on TV. So I had to try to find Jim Henson things and figure out the life of Jim Henson after the fact. And so I was consuming The Muppet Show, Dark Crystal, Labyrinth, The Cube, all of the stuff at once. And for me, Labyrinth is just a big part of my Muppet fandom. It's one of the things I really love about Jim Henson. I've always been a fan. It's always kind of freaked me out. The first movie to make my legs shake with fear as a kid. But I love it. I love it to death.
And JD, currently, what kind of Muppet stuff do you do? I know you just finished a big Muppet project for us at ToughPigs.
Did I? I'm not sure I'm thinking of what you're thinking of. I'm sort of between projects.
I was thinking of the fake Henson Bistro.
Yes.
Which
Bad
was
Henson
so
Bistro.
delightful.
That's probably the 2 things I think I'm best known for now are Bad Henson Bio and Bad Henson Bistro. I'm pretty happy with both of them. I don't know what the next Bad Henson thing will be, but I do have plans for other projects with ToughPigs, which I'm really excited about.
Well, that's great. And we're glad to have you here. And, you know, I feel like you already answered the third question, but the third question was, what's your favorite thing about Labyrinth? Because there's so much going on in this movie. You kind of already said that it was like the first movie that scared you, which is a great answer, but...
That's not necessarily what I like about it, though, because I don't like to be afraid. I think I love the impressive and creative puppets. I think the puppet designs are incredibly cool, particularly with the shaft of hands. Just a brilliant idea.
All right. Well, that's 20 points for getting all 3 of those questions correct. I know. How'd you do it?
You didn't even need to know what my initials stood for.
No. So
That's
you would have
amazing.
Look, you would have had 25 points if you told us, but
What?
some secret. No, I'm kidding.
What? In case you're wondering, it is John, Denver, and the Muppets at Christmas together. You can see why I would shorten that. It's a bit much.
All right, now let's move on to our second contestant. Contestant 2, what's your name?
My name is Shan, Shann, or Shannon. I usually go by Shannguin. It's like Shan and Penguin on Twitter and other social medias.
All right. And Shan, what's your history with the Muppets and Jim Henson?
Well, I've always like loved like Muppet type stuff. Like obviously I grew up with Sesame Street, and Sesame Street has kind of like carried on into like my adulthood where I definitely still watch it today. And then the Muppets kind of like stemmed off from there. And then I just got very like hyper focused, and I guess over the past years I've really gotten to, Henson's other works. Like it could be from like, The Muppet Show or like any of the Muppet movies to even like very obscure projects like Dog City and Ghost of Hafner Hall, which I think are like underrated classics. And yeah, like it's mainly just been like, a fascination with like Henson's works, whether he was alive or past.
Good stuff. I know, and you're an artist yourself, so a lot of that definitely makes sense. And Shan, what's your favorite thing about Labyrinth?
I guess the main thing would definitely be David Bowie, because I'm a big David Bowie fanatic, and I think he totally just shines in this movie with just like the way he portrays Jareth, and the songs he wrote for the movie are just incredible. But I think just not only David Bowie, but also just the creature designs. Like I love the helping hands, I love the fireys, I love that whole scene. Yeah, it just has a lot of good to it.
Yeah, no, excellent. And you've also earned 20 points for getting those questions correct. So that might have been easy, but the road only gets more confusing from here. In fact, let's start our trivia with a game I call...
It's not fair!
I'm calling it that because this round doesn't really have a theme besides just being about Labyrinth. Each of these questions is worth 1 point. Please wait until I finish the question to buzz in so the goblins at home can play along. Here we go. Question 1. What is the name of Sarah's favorite stuffed bear? JD?
Lancelot?
It is Lancelot, correct. Question 2. Jareth says that if Sarah kisses Hoggle, he'll turn Hoggle into what? JD?
Prince of the Land of Stench?
The Prince of the Land of Stench. Question 3. What does Sarah need to get before she can pass Sir Didymus's bridge? JD?
His permission.
His permission. Yes, and an abstract thing, but a thing she needs nonetheless. All right, so these next 2 questions are based on the fact that I find the plot of Labyrinth to be a little confusing. I'm going to give you 3 events in the movie, and I am going to need you guys to buzz in and tell me what happens first.
I had a feeling you'd do this.
Because let me tell you, it was hard for me. When I was writing these, I rewatched the movie and I was just writing down the events in numeric order because, the events don't necessarily follow each other in the form of a plot structure. So here's the 3 events I'm giving you here. The 2-headed guards, the false alarms, or meeting the wise man. Which happened first? Shan?
Is it meeting the wise man?
It is unfortunately not
Okay.
meeting the wise man. Good guess. JD, can you steal? You've got a 50-50 shot.
As you were saying it, I knew that I knew the answer, but now I've forgotten which things that you said.
Oh, I can give you again.
Oh,
Your
perfect.
choice is, which is first, the two-headed guards or the false alarms?
The two-headed guards.
It is the guards, absolutely. All right, next question. Which of these happened last? Meeting the door knockers, running from the cleaners, being locked in the oubliette. Shan, you have a guess?
I'm gonna guess being locked in the oubliette.
No, I'm
Okay.
sorry. Listen. This is tough. I know.
I know.
JD, the cleaners or the door knockers? Which comes last?
The door knockers.
It is the door knockers. Good. Question 6. In both the original draft of the Labyrinth script and the final filmed version, very little is the same. However, there is some key detail about when the main character meets Hoggle that is the same in both versions. Something about the scene where we meet Hoggle that is the same in both versions. If you don't know the backstory, think about something about the scene where we meet Hoggle and guess. JD, do you have a guess?
I have a guess. Is he killing fairies?
He is not killing fairies in the
Oh.
original script. It's something else that he's doing in both versions. So again, Shan, if you don't know the backstory here, think of what he's doing in the scene where we meet him.
Hard because I was also going to say something about the fairies where Sarah gets bit. Ah.
I've thought of what the other thing is. It's not pleasant.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to take a pass on this one because I'm just gonna have to go with the same answer as JD with the fairies. I don't know.
Well, listen, pass was very close. Because in all versions of the script, Hoggle is relieving himself when they first meet him.
Oh, that's right.
I don't know why they decided, they wrote that in the first draft and they were like, we gotta keep this.
I think that's like the one scene I blocked from memory. That's
Yeah,
why.
no kidding. No kidding. Gee, you mean that scene isn't as magical and pleasant as some of the later fun stuff?
I don't think so.
Okay, last question in this round. In the first volume of the Return to Labyrinth manga, which character from another Henson production appears in one panel with a speaking cameo? This is probably the hardest question because no one remembers this manga.
I haven't even been able to find it online because I know I definitely tried to, but it's like very obscure.
Shan, do you have a guess?
I'm gonna go with the most obvious one. It's Kermit.
It's not. Well,
Okay.
listen. I'm gonna throw you a point because
Okay.
it's not a speaking cameo,
Mhm.
but Kermit. There is a picture of Kermit in
Okay.
one of the panels. So
There's
what?
gotta be like some reference to like the Muppets.
You know what? I will give you a
Okay.
point. JD, do you have any idea who else it might be?
I would only be taking a totally random wild guess. Arnie from the Cube.
It's not Arnie from the Cube. It makes sense that this character would show up in a random place because it's Traveling Matt from Fraggle Rock.
Oh, that would make sense. That's cute.
He shows
That's
up.
Cute.
He shows up at the party and he asks for radishes. He asks like one of the people going around with appetizers if they have any radishes. All right. So we're going to move on to our next round, which is our classic head-to-head round.
Beat the time!
So you've got 13 hours on the clock, or probably a little less. I'm going to ask you a question that has many correct answers. Specifically, it has 10 correct answers. Starting with Shan, you will give an answer to my question. Then we'll move to JD. We'll alternate back and forth until neither of you can answer. If you can't answer or you take too long, your opponent will have a chance to steal. And again, if neither of you can answer, the round will end. So, what is this round about? Well, we're going to talk about Jareth. David Bowie was the only person Jim Henson ever spoke to directly about playing Jareth. And when he agreed, no one else needed to be asked. However, we know from Henson's notes and other documents that 10 other 70s and 80s rock musicians were considered for the role of Jareth. Starting with Shan, you will each take turns naming a rock musician that was considered for the role of Jareth. Worst comes to worst, just guess a rock musician that people considered sexy in 1986. I guess some of these are pop musicians, rock, pop. I mean, genre is weird. David Bowie would say that.
Mhm.
But yeah, you can get pretty far with that, even if you're not sure of the particulars. So let's get started. Shan, can you name a rock or pop musician who was considered for the role of Jareth?
I'm gonna have to say Billy Idol.
That would be a great pick. And I
know, right?
genuinely can't believe Billy Idol is not on this list. Right era.
Okay.
Similar like sexual appeal, but
Mhm.
no. So we'll come
Okay.
back. But now, JD, do you have one?
Sting.
Sting is on the list.
Wow.
Shan, do you have another guess?
Prince?
Prince is on the list.
Oh, good.
JD?
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson is on the list. A very different movie, if that was the case.
Mhm.
And also, yeah, it's already weird, the age gap, but probably weirder if it was
Mhm.
Michael Jackson. Anyway,
Mhm.
Shan, do you have another guess?
Mick Jagger?
Mick Jagger, absolutely. JD?
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. One of the ones that I wasn't sure counted as a rock musician, but you know. Shan?
This one I'm gonna guess. Steven Tyler.
Again,
Okay.
would make sense. Would make sense. Not on my list.
Okay.
JD. There's still 5.
Oh
Still
wow.
5.
And these are musicians that you guys know. Like, it's not like one of these is like, you know, the lead singer of Supertramp. Like, they're musicians who you know.
What about John Bon Jovi?
Not Bon Jovi.
Wow.
Again, a very different movie if it was Bon Jovi. Shan, do you have a guess?
Bruce Springsteen.
Again, would be great.
Would be very different movie.
I want to see
So
that
different.
movie. I know you both got it wrong, but I'm gonna keep going just a little bit.
Okay.
JD?
I looked it up the other day. I had a funny feeling this was coming. And yet,
I mean, I can start giving
I'm totally
clues,
drawing a
I
blank.
guess.
Make me starve. Make me think. Who have we said so far?
Okay, we've said Michael Jackson, Sting, Rod Stewart, Mick Jagger, and Prince.
This is wrong, but it's funny. Phil Collins?
It's funny.
No.
It's funny. It is wrong.
He's
but
already
would be
kind of a
good.
goblin, and he is a
already
short
kind
king,
of a goblin.
so he's most of the way there.
Shan, any other guesses?
Paul McCartney?
No, the Beatles.
Okay.
The Beatles aren't here. But some of, oh no, we already did Mick Jagger. I was about to say some of their contemporaries are, but
Okay.
no, we did Mick Jagger already. Some later stuff, at least one that if you think about David Bowie's weird gender, as alluded to earlier, is definitely another choice in that vein. JD, is that ringing any bells?
Not yet.
All right, I might have to call it if we can't go further here.
Can
I
I
think
throw
you
one
will.
out there?
Sure, Shan, throw one out there.
Todd Rundgren?
No, see
Because he
again,
was
we
in
should-
like the same, you
yeah,
know.
and we should call the Jim Henson Company circa 1986 and tell them to get some of these people on the list, because you're naming like the right kind of musicians, both of you, with maybe the exception of Bon Jovi. But all right, I'm gonna just have to call it here.
Okay.
So the remaining 5. First of all, the one I was thinking about with the kind of like walking the gender binary in strange ways, Freddie Mercury was considered, who was the one again that I was considering there with like that sort of thing. Other choices: Keith Richards, Ted Nugent, who I misread as Todd Rundgren when you said that and got excited, but it's Ted Nugent, Roger Daltrey, and David Lee Roth.
Wow. Oh, David Lee Roth kind of would make sense. I could see that.
I can see a couple of these. Sting would have been very different, but I think would have worked. David Lee Roth would have worked. Prince would have been incredible. I'm not sure what movie that would be anymore, but it would be entertaining. All right. Well, listen, at the very least, we all learned something about Roger Daltrey. And now we're moving into my favorite game, back again from season 1 of Hubba-Wha. The triangle is right. Well, sorta. As you know, in this game, every question has 3 correct answers, hence the title of the game. You can earn a point for each correct answer you get. Buzz in even if you don't know all 3 answers. You'll get a point for whatever you do remember. But if you miss anything, or if you say 3 things and 2 of them are right and 1 of them is wrong, your opponent will have a chance to get whatever is left over. So again, please wait until I finish reading the question to buzz in so that our friends at home can play along. And again, even if you don't know all 3 answers, buzz in. You still get points for what you do remember. Question 1. The only 3 characters in the movie to be puppeteered and voiced by the same person. JD, a little before Shan right there. Can you name them?
Hoggle.
Hoggle is one.
Ludo.
Ludo is the other.
The worm?
It's not the worm. Shan, do you have a guess as to who the 3rd character might be?
I don't think it's going to be, but Sir Didymus?
It's not Didymus either, strangely. It is the lead Fiery.
Wow.
And hey, second part to this question, and let's buzz in again. Can you name those 3 puppeteers who voiced and performed Hoggle, Ludo, and Fiery? Or any of them? JD?
Brian Henson is playing Hoggle.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Clash is playing the Fiery.
Kevin Clash is playing the Fiery. Because he sounds like the baby dinosaur.
This is true. This is true. And how is his name pronounced? Ron Muick as Ludo?
Yeah, Ron Muick or Ron Mueck. I don't actually know because I've never heard it. I've never
heard it either. Seems like a very impressive person.
Oh yeah, no, great work on Ludo. Ludo's a great character.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Once she begins her quest, what are the first 3 creatures that Sarah encounters? Shan.
The worm, the fairies, and Hoggle.
Okay. Technically, there's one before the worm.
Okay.
But I will give you the 2 points for fairy and Hoggle.
Okay.
JD, what creature is actually in the movie before the worm? And I'm not counting the goblins that are in her bedroom. We're talking about when she begins the quest.
I don't know what they're called, but the eyeball plants?
Yeah, they don't actually have a name, but yeah, I'm counting that. Technically, those plants with the moving eyeballs are in there before she sees the worm. But the other 2 got it, and JD, excellent work with the nameless eyeball plant.
I try.
Question 3. In Magic Dance, the three groups of items that follow the question, what kind of magic spell to use? Shan?
Slimer, snails, puppy, dog's tails, thunder, or lightning.
Correct. Question 4. The three things that Jareth's crystal ball turns into when he encounters Sarah in her home. JD.
A snake?
A snake is one.
Are you I assume you're counting what the snake turns into.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean.
The snake turns into a cloth that I think is a scarf or handkerchief.
Yeah, I had written a scarf, but I will
Okay.
count a cloth that is a scarf or a handkerchief as a cloth.
And then that turns into a little goblin.
Yes,
Itty bitty little fuzzy goblin.
yes. Question 5. The three characters who swear in the film Labyrinth, counting damn as a swear. Shan.
I know Hoggle is definitely one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He said damn a lot.
He sure does.
Let's say one of the door knockers?
Do you have a third guess?
Sir Didymus?
Okay, it's not either of those two, but you
Okay.
definitely get a point for Hoggle.
Okay.
JD?
Sarah, right
Yes.
at the beginning of the film.
Sarah says damn at least once.
Mhm.
There is another character, though. And I'll tell you, this one isn't damn.
Oh. I want to say Jareth.
No, the wise man's hat says that something is a load of crap.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
It's a weird movie, and a
It is.
weird Muppet movie as well. Or Henson, not technically the Muppets, but still. And this question has more than 3 answers, but you can only get a maximum of 3 points regardless. Any of the 3 books in Sarah's bedroom. JD?
The Wizard of Oz,
Mm-hmm.
Where the Wild Things Are,
Mm-hmm.
and Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, those are 3 books in her bedroom. Other choices, Snow White.
Oh, wait. Does Shan not get to
Oh.
guess?
Shan, would you
Other
like to
choices.
guess any other ones?
Oh.
Snow White? No.
No. Moby Dick?
No.
No, okay.
Yeah, so the other ones are Snow White, a book of Grimm's fairy tales, and a book called The Labyrinth.
That would make sense.
I guess that details the plot of the movie.
Did you notice that copy of Snow White was not just the story of Snow White, but it was like Walt Disney's Snow White Annual?
No, I
It's
didn't.
something strange. And they clearly are using that as a stand-in for Snow White, which would be a very short story if they put that actual book there.
Yeah, that's true. That wouldn't be its own
Right.
book. In
Mhm.
fact, it would be included in the Grimm's fairy tales
Mhm.
book next to it. Good point. Didn't notice that. You could have saved that for the stump me round and gotten yourself
Yeah.
10 points right there.
Hmm.
But before we get to that round, we have one final main trivia round that I call the people in your neighborhood. This is a game about the people who made the film Labyrinth possible. Everyone knows about the work that Jim Henson, David Bowie, and Jennifer Connelly did to make the film, but it took a village of talented creatives to make Labyrinth. In this round, I'm going to ask you about the real-life people behind Labyrinth. Each of these questions is worth 1 point. However, getting some questions correct will trigger bonus questions, which are harder and worth 3 points. Again, wait until I'm done asking to buzz in. Let's get started. Question 1. Jim Henson turned to this acclaimed director for help producing and editing the film. Shan?
George Lucas?
It is George Lucas. Question 2. This actress, famous for her role on Star Trek The Next Generation, choreographed some of the dancing in the movie. JD?
Gates McFadden.
It is Gates McFadden, credited at the time as, I mean, this is not for any points.
Cheryl McFadden?
Yeah, Cheryl McFadden. She was going by that name at the time. JD, a bonus question for potential other points. What are 2 other Henson projects that she choreographed?
I have no idea. I mean, I would guess The Muppets Take Manhattan just because, you know, I hope I'm not spoiling another question by saying she's in that.
She sure is in that.
What else would need choreography? Did she do choreography for something in the Dark Crystal I'm forgetting?
Those are the correct 2 answers. I have no
Wow.
idea. I believe she's credited as a choreographer for movement in Dark Crystal, for helping sort of the performers decide like how a Skeksis moves.
Every puppet has movement. That's what makes it a puppet.
Yes, it
What kind
wouldn't
of
be a puppet
credit is that?
otherwise. It would be a statue or a doll. She also did Dream Child, but that's only partially a Henson project. Question 3. Sarah's baby brother is played by this actual baby who would grow up to be an artist and employee of the Henson Creature Shop. Shan?
Toby Froud?
It is Toby Froud. Shan, what is the name of Toby Froud's production company, which has a name inspired by his role in this movie? Something famous about his role in this movie. I don't expect you to know the production company, but you might be able to guess something about the baby Toby.
Something with babe. Something with baby in it? I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
Doesn't have baby in it.
Okay.
JD, any idea? It's silly. Which is why I had to ask.
It's Where's Waldo Pajamas production company.
Oh,
You
wow.
are so close, JD.
Really?
It is the Stripey Pajamas
Ah!
Oh
Productions.
my gosh.
Why did I go for the silly answer when I was so close to the real
close.
one?
You were thinking of the right thing. Question 4. At the time, Frank Oz was busy directing Little Shop of Horrors during the filming of Labyrinth. However, he showed up on set for 1 day with enough time to puppeteer 1 Labyrinth character, who he does not perform the voice of. Which character is puppeteered by Frank Oz? JD?
What's he called? The Wise Man?
It is the Wise Man. JD, who is performing the Wise Man's hat by crouching behind Frank Oz?
That's his friend Dave Goles.
It is his longtime co-worker Dave Goles, getting really up close and personal for the sake of the art.
They've known each other long enough. It was
Yes.
fine.
Yes, listen, that is not the first time they've
definitely
done
not.
that.
Definitely not.
Question 5. The first draft of the Labyrinth script was penned by this Canadian poet known for writing the lyrics to the songs on Fraggle Rock. JD, do you have a guess?
I have a 50-50 chance. I
Mhm.
should know this. Dennis Lee?
It is Dennis Lee. Good 50-50. JD, what did Dennis Lee contribute to Jim's previous non-Muppet film, The Dark Crystal?
Oh. I have absolutely no idea. You've got me there.
We
time
know
for
he
me-
wrote the lyrics to all of the Fraggle Rock songs, or 90% of them.
Did he write lyrics to Kira's song in The Dark Crystal?
No. Shan, do you have a guess as to what you might hire Canadian poet Dennis Lee to write for the film Dark Crystal?
I don't know. I'm
Again, a guess. The bonus questions I didn't expect anyone to know.
he He gave names for all the Skeksis.
You're close. I'm not going
Oh.
to give it to you, unfortunately, but you are
Okay.
close.
Okay.
So one thing, and I'm saying this for the folks at home, as well. One thing you might not know about the Dark Crystal is originally only the Gelflings spoke English. The film was recorded and screened for test audiences with the Skeksis just screaming and making bird noises nonstop, and the Mystics just groaning nonstop. Test audiences did not like watching a movie where, for huge swaths of time, there were simply bird creatures screaming at each other and making terrible vulture noises.
But why not? That's the question. What's
I don't-
wrong with them?
I don't know. So Jim Henson hired Dennis Lee to write all of the Skeksis and Mystic dialogue after the film was already done and had already been filmed. So apparently he had to sit there and match the mouth flaps exactly. So it looked like they were always saying the lines he wrote, even though when everyone was performing them, they were just mouth flapping to different bird noises.
That's crazy. Now, it's kind of related, but
Yeah.
I know that Frank Oz originally did the original performance for Aughra, I believe. Didn't he
Yes.
also do a made-up language for Aughra?
I'm not sure about
Okay.
Aughra speaking a made-up language. That's
Okay.
a great question.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you're right. It is him doing the puppetry. And it's the lady from, I think, The Omen who is doing the voice, oddly enough. But
I've seen behind the scenes footage of Frank doing Aughra, and he's speaking English.
Okay.
And there are a few words in there like wooje wooje that, as far as I know, are not English.
So what I would have to assume, and maybe I am nowhere near as talented as a creative as Jim Henson or most of his collaborators. But I would have to assume the amount of exposition that Aughra gives, if she gave it in a made-up language, it would be a very difficult scene to get through.
Oh, definitely.
But I also would have had the Skeksis speaking English in my version of Dark Crystal. So what do I know?
Becca, I can't believe you tricked me onto a Dark Crystal podcast when
I
I thought I was
know,
coming
I know.
onto a Labyrinth show.
No one wants to be on a Dark Crystal episode. I every season I pitch it. And every season Joe Hennis tells me that no one will be on my Dark Crystal episode. So I cut it.
I will be on a Dark Crystal podcast just so I can complain about Age of Resistance not getting another season.
Yeah, we talked about that a little on an earlier episode of Hubba-Wha. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch that season. It certainly was delightful.
Oh, it was so good.
And
I've actually never seen it. Do I need to see it?
You don't need to do anything. I mean,
okay, well,
I'm not the boss of you, JD, but it's good.
Okay.
It's better than Dark Crystal.
Okay. All right, then I'll watch it.
All right. Well, moving back to Labyrinth, from our little Dark Crystal aside.
Thank you.
Question 6. This comedian, director, and recent honorary Oscar winner was the uncredited script doctor for Labyrinth. JD?
This is Elaine May.
It is Elaine May. I was surprised to learn that famous comedian and director of Ishtar and other movies, Elaine May, punched up the script. Question 7. This British puppeteer who previously worked with Henson on The Muppet Show does not puppeteer any main characters in Labyrinth, but does appear in person, dancing in the ballroom scene. Also famously one of the only Muppet puppeteers who was left-handed. JD?
Louise Gold.
It is Louise Gold.
Wow.
Of Annie Sue and the Afghan Hound, and probably characters people like better than the Afghan Hound. Question 8. As the contact juggler whose hand performed the crystal ball tricks, this person effectively was David Bowie's puppeteer in the film Labyrinth. I don't know the answer to this question. I mean, I know it because I wrote it down, but like, if I were a guest on this podcast, I would be getting this wrong. Michael Moshin.
Wow.
You didn't let me make up a random guess.
Oh, JD, let's take this again.
Yeah.
JD, do you have a guess?
Harvey Kneeslapper.
It is Harvey Kneeslapper.
Wow!
No.
How many points?
12. No, it's
Awesome.
it's Michael Moshin. All right. Well, now it's time for you to turn the world upside down for me. I've got no power over you in this round, which we call the Anything in the World prize game. This time, you guys are able to ask me anything about Labyrinth. Each of you will be able to ask me a question. If you stump me, you will earn 10 points. Here we go. Let's start with Shan. Shan, do you have a question for me?
Yes. So, most know, but the original animatronic for Hoggle was lost in luggage and then reclaimed at the unclaimed baggage store located in Scottsboro, Alabama, where he sits on display today. However, when he initially arrived, he was in very, very rough shape. Can you tell me the SFX artist who was tasked in restoring his face and body?
This is a great story, and if you don't know that there's a Hoggle on display at an airport because he got lost in the baggage claim, and you gotta wonder, being the airport employee who found that, just opened a trunk and there was a rotting dwarf inside of it. But I do not actually know the answer to this question. So I could guess Harvey Kneeslapper like JD did, but I don't think that's right. Shan,
Probably right.
Shan, what is the answer to the question?
The name would be Gary Sowatska. I hope I said that last name right.
Well, if you're out there, Gary, I'm sorry if we pronounced your name wrong, but thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service
to airports and rotting dwarf puppets everywhere. That's 10 points, Shan. Let's move to JD. JD, do you have a question for me?
Becca, I have struggled so much to pick one. And I am having to pick from a mental list right now because I was so undecisive about it. Okay. One of the neat things about Labyrinth is that everything in the world of Labyrinth looks like it could only exist in the world of Labyrinth. They had to make everything. They couldn't reuse Muppet characters, or they would have looked too Muppety. They couldn't reuse Gelfling characters, so they would have looked too Gelflingy.
Yeah, people would have just fallen asleep as soon as they sat down.
This is true. However, there's one type of puppet creature that they used in the Dark Crystal that is reused in Labyrinth. It's not named in Labyrinth. It is named in the Dark Crystal. Can you tell me what this type of creature is?
Oh, great question. This feels like the kind of thing that usually I'm all about in these episodes of this show and on ToughPigs, but I don't actually know which is the puppet that's reused, because you've kind of trapped me on a Dark Crystal podcast right now. And that's not where I wanted to be. JD, I'm going to guess a land strider, and I just wasn't paying attention. And it's just there, this giant creature.
That'd be great. That'd be really great. It would actually save Sarah a lot of time if that was true, because then she could get on its back, climb over the walls of the labyrinth, and just walk across the top.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant. No, actually, it's the crawlies. Do you remember the crawlies? Those are the cheap toys that they just bought at the store. They're these little furry, feathery things on strings that they pull along to have it scurry along the floors in the Dark Crystal. And it's what the Skeksis eat. That's when you hear the name of them out loud in the Dark Crystal. That's what they're eating. And then in the Goblin City in Labyrinth, if you look, they're scurrying around. They're running around on the ground. There's one going up a wall.
No kidding. Good to know.
Now I'm just picturing a bunch of worms on a string in Labyrinth. Like the ones with the little eyes.
Yeah, with the little eyes in hot pink and yellow.
This is the funny thing about it. Of all the brilliant puppets they could have reused, they picked the cat toys that they put little wires on. That's what they bring back. The greatest hit from the Dark Crystal.
They're like, audiences didn't respond to this movie. I think what they might have liked was the cat toys. And then they'd bring it full circle when A Christmas Toy premiered a couple years later.
Yes!
All right, so JD, you've also earned yourself 10 points. So now I have to do a little bit of arithmetic and total up the scores as they stand. All right, it's time for our final number in the game, Say the Word. So like the final round of that other game show, in this game, you can wager any amount of points. The winner gets those points back. The loser loses them. However, unlike that other game show, you'll get to hear the question before you wager. You'll also get to hear your score. So currently, our score is Shan has 41 points, and JD, you have 62 points. So JD's got the lead, but this could be anyone's game, provided how you bet and if you know the answer to this last one. I know the stakes have never been higher. What if you lose this Muppet quiz show? So, here's the question. Everybody's favorite song in Labyrinth is Magic Dance. David Bowie based the intro and bridge of Magic Dance on dialogue from a 1947 comedy film where the speaker was reminded of a man with the power of hoodoo. Name the movie, the actor who starts this exchange, or the actress who reminds him of the man. Whoever gets more of these three things correct will win the points. So name of the 1947 comedy, the actor who delivers this dialogue in the 1947 comedy, and the actress who he is talking about when he says this. I will say, for you two, and for those of you playing along at home, even if you don't know this movie, you do know this actor and actress. They are people you know. All right. So neither of our guests seem extremely confident in their answer. So let's go through what you guys responded. Let's start with Shan. Now, Shan, you bet 25 points. What were you thinking this classic comedy exchange might have come from?
I was thinking 1947 comedy, and I know I'm assuming the original Nutty Professor came around that time, so I guess that is the movie. I guess the actor Jerry Lewis is the actor, and then actors. I totally just threw a guess. Doris Day.
You said Doris Day with 3 question marks,
yep.
But again, thinking in the right era.
Yeah.
Now, JD, you bet 12 points. So what movie were you thinking of? And this is a real classic that you chose.
Yes, I suggested the movie was Hot Dog. It's 1947, everyone. Just because I've seen it a lot on TCM. It's on all the time. And no, I See, this was the trouble. When I watched the movie the other night, I remember thinking, oh, she's going to ask about what classic movie he's pulling that from. I got to remember to look this up, and then I didn't. However, I was reasonably confident that the actor was Cary Grant. Had no memory of who the actress was, so I put Veronica Lake because I know that's about the right era.
And yeah, you guys are both thinking in the right era. So surprisingly, the movie was not Hot Dog. It's 1947, everyone. Because I think Bowie never saw that. It was the movie The Bachelor and the Bobby Soxer, which is a movie that if it were 1947, you could pay money and see. And the actress in particular who was reminiscent of the man with the power of hoodoo was the one and only Animal Crackers herself, Shirley Temple.
Oh, okay.
But JD, you are correct. It was Cary Grant.
Thank you.
Nice.
Your wild guess of actors from the 40s paid off in that regard. So yeah, I still have no idea why this is included, like why Bowie chose to reference this movie that we otherwise don't know. I don't know, and tragically we can't ask him. But what I can do, and what I do know, is that our winner today, with a score of 74 points, is JD. So JD, you are today's winner and today's toughest pig. So JD, you win your choice of prizes.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
I know. It's so exciting. Fabulous prizes were promised. You win your choice of prizes. You either win a peach that may or may not put you to sleep, or a magnet I made of Ludo.
Okay, so I have to ask a question.
Yes.
Does the peach have a little worm in it? But instead of being a worm the way that the puppet worm is a talking worm, this worm is just a worm.
No, it actually has a crawly in it.
Oh, no. Okay. The magnet.
I learned about 10 minutes ago, and now I'm an expert in.
Ludo. I want Ludo.
Okay.
Did you say it was a Ludo magnet?
Yes, it's a magnet.
Okay.
It really works
Wow.
as a magnet using
That
the
looks great.
power of magnet.
Yeah, let's not
So,
say we did.
so that brings us to the end of another one. So, guests, where can people find you if you wish to be found? Let's start with Shan.
I guess where I'm mainly active, it would be on my Twitter at Shannguin, SHANNGUIN. I will mainly tweet, I'll do Muppet stuff. Sometimes it'll be video game related, like Super Mario stuff. I'm a big, mainly Super Mario 64 mods, which is very specific, but it's true. But I also, as Becca said, I am an illustrator, and I do have my illustration portfolio website link in my bio. So yeah, you can reach me there.
Yeah, and you've done some cool stuff, Shan. I mean, here's the part where I plug stuff that you've done. You've done art for Vine Sauce and for Danny Weinkauf of They Might Be Giants. So some cool stuff that you've contributed art to. Don't sell yourself short. And JD, where can people find you? And I know it kind of keeps changing as you change which projects you're doing.
It does. I make it hard. Make it very, very hard. So the old accounts for Bad Henson Bio and Bad Henson Bistro are still there if you want to look at what's there at Bad Henson Bio or at Bad Henson Bistro. But on toughpigs.com, there's an article that has a finished version of the menu that was put together for the Bad Jim Henson Bistro. I never explained on mic what that was. I probably should explain. That is a restaurant that I made up, in which everything in the building, everything on the menu is random Muppet nonsense. It could be a reference to any Muppet thing or Jim Henson thing. And a lot of deep cut stuff that only the nerdiest of people will understand or appreciate. And if you like that, you might also like that Henson bio, which was a fake Jim Henson biopic script. Also very much not real, total nonsense. Becca, you look like you have something you want to say.
I was just going to say, the Bad Henson biopic got so bizarre at times. And I remember some of those tweets getting pretty controversial because of just how, like, surreal they got. Like, people were confused.
Good.
But I found it delightful.
Again,
and I'm glad...
my favorite movie is Labyrinth. So my work is generally confusing. If you want to be confused by more of my work, keep an eye on toughpigs.com. I'm juggling a few projects right there, so I don't know what's going to be out when this comes out, but hopefully there will be something interesting.
Quick question, JD. Are you juggling them, or is Michael Moshin juggling them from behind you?
You got me. You got me.
Well, of course.
One of the most prolific Tough Pigs contributors.
He's juggling for all of us. And of course, you can find Tough Pigs at toughpigs.com or at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you like our work, you can consider donating to the Tough Pigs Patreon, where you can get even more exclusive free stuff. We also have Tough Pigs t-shirts, which include a shirt promoting Hubba-Wha, so you can let people know that you have a very normal taste in podcasts. I'd like to thank some people for helping out. Of course, our guests. Thank you both for being here and putting up with this nonsense. But also, thanks to myself, because it's important to be grateful for yourself. So thanks to me for writing, producing, and editing the show. Thanks to Stacey Rosen for writing the theme music for this show. Thanks to Richard Gomez for doing some new artwork for the show. Thanks to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. And thanks to all my friends from the Labyrinth for being there whenever I need them the most. And of course, thanks to all you at home for being with us on Hubba-Wha, the Muppet Quiz Show. And as always, it's only forever, not long at all. Good night, everyone.
Hey, you remind me of a man.
What man?
The man with the power.
What power?
The power of hoodoo.
Who do?
You do.
Do what?
Remind me of a man.
What man?
The man with the power.
Good morning.
Power of Greetings.
Are you out of your mind?
What?
What are you trying to do?